Hello, Shomerim. It's a good day today. This is Tuesday. I'm making this quick video to kind of get us so that we don't lose our skills over, this time we're all trapped at home. So shooting is a perishable skill, and besides, we may need some extra security on some of those Zoom meetings. I can sense something coming. Not really. I have no sensitivity. So we looking at this, and again, shooting is a perishable skill. This is something you can do on your own while you're social distancing. You can go with your sugar booger. I know, if you're not, if you're too homely to have a sugar booger, not calling anybody out, just saying, if you're on the team and you don't have a sugar booger, you can go with anyone you live with. You can even go with someone you don't live with, because you don't have to be close to do these things together, and you can go by yourself. I've been to the range a couple times by myself, so it's okay. So, several things I want to talk about that we can do, that you can do some of these at home, and I would encourage you to do that. And some of these you can do at the range if you do go out, to make the most of your time. So, one easy thing to do is practicing two sights with three shots with two sights. Now, if you recall, way back when, we didn't do this the last time we were at the range, last two times, I think. But we started off, and our standard is to fire twice center mass, then once up top. And what you do for that is, as we did back in those days when we were working on this a bit, was you sight in once for the first center mass shot, boom, and then you just pull the trigger fast on the second shot, boom, boom. Now your second shot's going to walk a little bit because the recoil is going to take you up. And then you take another sight picture for the top shot at the top. So that's two sight pictures, three shots. We've done that before, and one of the ways that I saw was watching a video about, that's a good way to do it, a good cheap way, is you can take two just normal 9-inch plates, put one about this far down and one about a foot or so above it, and you do this because it gives you a target, but also it'll tell you your range for the process. So if you start at 5 feet and you boom boom and you've got both of your shots in here and the one up there, that's great. You go back another 4 or 5 feet. Now you've got one that's here and one that's here. So you're still on the paper. You're at 10 feet. You go back another 5. Now if you have the first shots in here but the second shot's over here somewhere, then you know, okay, now this is the max range. I can do this two looks with 3 shots, because my shot is spreading too much. It's walking around, not making me safe, and not going to do the job. Remember, the job is to stop the bad guy. So that would be your range. You'd step back up to 10 or 12 feet, and you'd begin to practice that, And everything, well, the other thing I would like to say with this in mind for the whole shooting session is to always go through the process the same way, like you were in, a bad setting where you needed it. So I'm going to pull this pistol out, and I got this out of the gun safe, so I know it's cleared, but I'm going to clear it anyway. So I'm going to eject my magazine, lock it back, visually inspect, stick my finger in there. Okay, there's nothing there. And when I practice with anything at home, I leave the magazine out once I've cleared it. I could put this in, it's an empty magazine, and that does throw the balance off. Like my finger wants to slide here because there's not the end of the magazine, and the weapon's more muzzle heavy because, the weight of a loaded magazine. But you want to be safe. So here I am, I'm safe. So every time, now I'm doing this because of the exercise, every time that I change a magazine, even if when I'm at the range, even if I'm doing slow fire stuff, I'm going to, when the magazine's dry, I'm going to kick out the old one, boom, kick the old one out. I'm going to put my elbow on my body with this weapon in front of me, so I'm still looking at the target. I'm going to stick in the new magazine, retrieve it with one hand, stick it in with one hand. Then I'm a guy who uses my thumb release. Some of you do this to release it. Either one is fine. Most of the guys I work with taught me to do that, but God made those thumb releases for a reason, so I use it. So then I'm going to hit the thumb release, and now I'm ready to go. If I do it the other way and I've stuck it in the new magazine, well, it's not going to open up because I got the empty magazine here, but then you just pop it back and you're good to go. So practice like you perform, and then you'll perform like you practice. That's what we always said in music, and that's what's going on here. So I'm going to leave this out, still empty. So if I need to, I can grab this and show it. So that's the first thing to think about is always do everything like you're at the range. So like when I'm using a revolver, I never load the cylinder by hand. I always load my speed loader, then load the cylinder. So I'm used to doing that speed loader, so it'll be natural if I ever need to use it. One of the things you can do, we'll come back to the range in a minute. Let's do our non-range things. Is you can practice your draw. That's what I did the last time I was at the range. I probably did 60, 70 rounds of draw. Just pull it out, shoot it, put it back in. Pull it out, shoot it. One of the things you can do that at home without, this is a bore sight. This is made specifically for every caliber. So this is a 9mm bore sight. That's why it's so small and ineffective. So I open up my weapon. I slide it into the barrel in the chamber. And then I release the slide. And now, if this had a battery, now this one didn't go all the way in the battery, but it doesn't matter. You're sorry about this. I'm trying not to sneeze at you. I know I'm touching my face, but it's me. I can touch my own face. And now, when I draw, the laser's turned on. I'll get a red dot on the target, or where I'm thinking. You know, if I'm thinking I'm hitting the middle of the target, I'll get that red dot. So, oh, that wasn't anywhere near the middle of the target. So I can practice. So I can go in my garage. It's fairly dark. You know, turn the lights on there. And this laser isn't bright enough to work very well in the sun, but I can holster it and I can draw it. I can holster it and I can draw it. I know, sounds like you're trying to be a cowboy, but what else have you got going on? So that's a bore sight. Now this particular brand, let me see if I can read what it is. Is pretty lousy. I bought this, it was $20. See, and it's the only one I found that was made like this. I can't see the brand name on there. I can't read it, but the reviews said that it was the way it is, and the reviews are spot on. It will work, but it's cheap. It doesn't like to stay together. It's got a little nylon end here. Let's see, the glare is too strong. I can see that's white there at the end, and this one is completely stuck. Getting it to work is a bit of a pain. And it uses these batteries, which are not super cheap, 377s, uses 3 of them. But it is a really good exercise, and so I think it's a good tool, even though I'm not happy with the quality of it. There are also those little laser sights we bought the other day, about 6 months ago, that were in this box. I cannot find mine. They hook on the bottom of your pistol if you have either a groove here or the little cutouts, and it hooks on there. And that works too. Now, that one is harder to do a draw because you, unless you have a special holster, it won't fit with holster. But you can still put your hand here by your holster and then draw it, you know, put it down here. So you're not actually in the holster, but still doing that motion, that process. So that, and that laser sight will work just like that bore sight, only it's a much better quality. So those are two things that really work well. You can kill some time at home. Remember, when you're doing your practice, you want to be sure and line up the two back dots here, or the back of your target of your sights with the front of the targets. If I've got it like this, I'm going to shoot low. If I've got it like this, I'm going to shoot high. Go like that, I'm going to shoot too far to the right, off to that side. So lined up where you have an even amount of white space on either side of that front post, and the front post is level with the back, the top of the back. Because it's shooting is a perishable skill, but it's not rocket surgery either. It's, you know, you do these things, it'll go where it's supposed to go. It's not the weapons that are inaccurate, it's usually us. And the proof of this is, if you remember last time I went to the range, Mark was having a terrible time, and Mark shoots pretty well. Well, his back sight was loose and ended up coming off before the day was over. So even when it was still on there, but it was loose, it had moved just enough that he was having trouble, you know, getting paper. And again, Mark shoots well. He's not, you know, he's not a danger to himself. It's only the person he's shooting at. But that day, because his equipment was malfunctioning just a little bit, but you saw the huge difference when he got past about 6 or 8 feet, you know. So he's got all that squared away. Next thing you can do, and I've got my notes here on one of these plates. So we talked about the laser sight. That's the one that fixes on the bottom. The little one that's shaped about like a bullet that goes in the barrel is a bore sight. You can find different versions of those. A great tool. This is Clint's timer, and it'll do all kinds of things. You can set it up to time your shot strings, like 3 shots. How quick did I do it? There's a instruction booklet that goes with it. That's a little harder to do, but it's not really difficult. But you don't have to do anything to use it as a timer. It already works. I mean, you turn it on, you push this button here until it comes on, and then there's a little display here on this front screen, and then this button on the side. So I'll set it on one of those plastic barrels. I'll push the button on the side, and it will randomly in the next 5 or 6 seconds go off, beep, and I'll draw and I'll shoot, and then it'll stop after my shot because it's set for 1 shot from the factory. And that times your drawing. So if you're drawing from outside the belt holster, and you've got your shirt tucked in, so it's right there, you want to get your shot to definitely less than 1.5 seconds. It needs to be an accurate shot, so make sure you're close enough that you're hitting inside that target, the man-shaped target. If you're using an in-the-belt holster with your shirt or your jacket over the top, then you can up that by about 1/2 second. Look for 2 seconds or less. But if you're on the belt and your shirt is tucked in, so you're not moving any clothing, you definitely need to be well under 1.5 seconds is your goal. You won't be there right away. We've done some of that before. So this is the draw where you put your hand here on your belly button, you pull your weapon, boom. You're not doing the pulling it up and getting the sight. This is just a quick draw. Okay, boom. This is the cowboy stuff. Don't know how. It could happen. So it's one of those things. We don't have a real large facility at AYZ, so they might be there. So practice that draw, and you can use this timer. You can get with Clint and say, hey, can I use your timer? And if he says, yeah, I'll bring it to you, or I'll find a way for you to get it. You can also download for free some shot timers on your phone. They don't work nearly as good as this, and they're not as loud as this. You can hear this with your muffs on, but they work, and they're easy, and they're free. Let's see. So laser sight, bore sight. The timer, this is Clint's. We did the 2 plates already. We also have, here at my house, I have that the AYZ has bought. We have a ton of dot torture targets. Those are the ones with the red dots around and different shot profiles for each one. You can use those as prescribed. You can use them just as separate targets and practice on each one and then move this so you don't have to change your targets very often. Generally, we've used them in our sessions for accuracy, but you can also use them for speed. Once you feel like you're pretty accurate on it, do the prescribed shots quickly. See how well you do when you speed it up a little bit. We also have some of the big Dennis at Nomads calls them green monsters because his are green. I think ours are red, but they're the big torso. You can come by and get one of those, or I can bring one of those by to you if you want 1 or 2 of those or whatever you need. So we have those, and then for those who participated in the buying the ammo, we have quite a bit of 9mm here in an ammo box that I can get to you, so you're not paying for the ammo. Do know that if you go to Nomads, he gets us a deal when we go as a team, so it's $10 a piece. His usual rate is $20 a piece, so be aware of that so you don't get out there and go, oh, no. And then finding ammo. There's plenty of 9mm ammo out there that in 40 and 45, depending on what you're shooting. But people are a little freaked, and so the shelves will be bare. So like I went one day when this first started out, and the 9mm was gone from Academy where I usually go, but I found some on an end cap. Well, good. Well, actually, I went and found some, but there wasn't a lot left. Went about a week or so later. There was only some on the end cap. Everything else was gone. I stuck my head in last week, and there was nothing there, but I went over to Gander and did find some ammo in finding 9mm. I found some 38 special. I shoot that some. And one of the days when I was there, when I got the big amount, the shelves were clear, but they were unloading boxes. So when they get deliveries, there's not a shortage of ammo. It's still coming in, but you may not find it right away. So if you are going to go to the range, make sure you have bullets before you go. Dennis has some that he can sell, but he said he was running low too because people have kind of freaked out, bought guns that don't know how to shoot, so they're coming in and buying up his ammo to shoot there at the range. So be sure you can find the ammo. We talked about the targets that you can get from me that I'll deliver to you, the ammo that you can get from me that I'll deliver to you if it's 9mm. Mark has the Mark steel targets, the ones he's made. Those are good if you have those or access to those. It's $20. You can also ask Rabbi if he'll open up the gates so you can shoot there at AYZ. I'm not a big fan of shooting there, but that's my opinion. It's just what it is. It's an opinion. You can do what you want, and it's free, and that's the big advantage there. So if money's an issue, bring that up, and I'm sure that you guys can probably work something out. So I feel like I'm leaving something important out. So work on different things. You can do the paper plate challenge. You can take the dot torture challenge. You can take the torso and use that and get a couple of those. Last time I went, I bought a couple from Dennis because I wanted to put some money in his pockets as he's trying to keep his business open. And I practiced on one for a while, and then I went to the other one after I practiced and see if my, so it was a clean target, see if my skill was any better. Got ammo and targets, the cost, laser sights, bore sights, the timer, all kinds of great things you can do. A lot of these you can do at home. Practice that sight acquisition that we were talking about, where you line up that back and rear sights at home. I do that with the TV a lot. My wife loves it. And then I put it down, I do it again, and I'll line up those sights. I'll squeeze the trigger. Then I'll keep that trigger down, and I'll rack the slide. Then I'll release the trigger just till I hear the click. And then I'll line up the sights and release till I hear the click. And I'll do it again. What that does is, if I go all the way, believe it or not, that little bit of extra distance going from here to here, here to there, takes away some of your accuracy. So I do it, hold it down, work the slide, and you train yourself to react to your pistol, your weapon, so that you're doing that when you're at the range. It actually affects your accuracy pretty much a lot. Only thing more effective is, of course, the lining up your sights when your sights aren't loose. So we did that. So anyway, if you get a chance going out, call somebody on the team, go out with them, or just go out by yourself. Talk to Rabbi about AYZ. If it's a financial issue, if you need bullets or something, come over here. Do check the stores if you're not part of that. Bought the ammo. We've got targets. I'm sure Clint wouldn't mind you using this. Now this is relatively expensive. It's about $100, so don't break it if you use it. And I practiced my draw at about 2 Clint lengths, like if he was laying down there from the target, and then another one on top of his head. And that was a pretty good distance to make it enough of a challenge that I would have to be careful and still be somewhat realistic, because you're not going to do like television and quick draw from 10 yards, 15, 20 yards away. Okay, well, you guys have a great, blessed time. I miss seeing everybody, and remember, let's keep those skills up. So if there's a need to pull our weapons during a Zoom meeting, we can do it. Shalom Laka, Akim.